Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
Welcome back indeed. I'm Dan. That's Sam.
Is the fountain either the queso fountain, we were talking about that on Twitch earlier, or the chocolate fountain or whatever?
It started with the champagne or punch fountain, right?
Right.
Let's deep dive this a second. When I was a child, I remember going to some sort of an event where the first time I ever saw some sort of a fountain that had a purpose, it was, and what I mean by that, it wasn't just a decorative fountain. It was like an edible or a libation fountain, and I believe it was some sort of a punch. And it would spill over and look real pretty, and you would dip your cup into it, right?
Yeah.
And then they sip to the groom, to the right. Then it became chocolate fountain, almost like a fondue type of deal.
Yeah, fondue fountains.
Then we went from fondue fountain to
cheese fondue.
Cheese fondue, and then cheese fondue. The natural progression is queso. Only problem with that is queso traditionally was going to have some onions and peppers in it, right? And that's going to get stuck in your pump.
The fountain has to be on the decline, obviously because of the pandemic, but even furthermore, even though people move on from being scared of getting COVID, it made the entire world more
it's top of mind.
Germophobic.
Yeah.
There's an awareness there now.
It made you more aware of spreading things or whatever. So fountains, open air, big troughs of food and drink. You're dipping thing. Everybody's dipping.
Yeah.
That probably
buffets. I mean, we saw Sweet Tomatoes, which was my daughter's in her top 5 favorite restaurants.
The buffet doesn't seem as bad, only because it's at least there's different troughs and there's a spoon involved.
I hate the word trough.
I know.
Did they do that for weddings? Was that on the decline during COVID, like in the beginning and right now? Because we're kind of bookending. We're not where we were, let's say, 5 months ago when we're it's a little bit different.
No, we're open baby.
Yeah, it's a we're open baby scenario.
Numbers are still high, but
oh yeah, and they're gonna get. It's funny because depending on what you read, it's either we're open baby or Armageddon.
I said we're open baby.
I know what you said.
I said we're open baby.
All right. Ich bin ein Berliner.
But that's the ultimate fancy way to present some
Is
sort
it
of food.
Fancy?
Well,
it's not. But there was a sweet spot where the chocolate fountain was like, the chocolate fountain is fancy for 3, 2, 1. No, it ain't fancy no more. Well, it was like that. It was like it had a window of fanciness.
Well, I think
2006 it was fancy.
Poor people think it's fancy.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's most of everything is how to present something to poor people where they think it's fancy. And I think all the fountain stuff came from Willy Wonka, right?
I never thought about
because
that.
Because it was the dream that you had an edible
river.
The whole world, right?
Chocolate.
I mean, I remember watching Willy Wonka as a kid, and then when they walked into where the river is and the grass and trees, and then it's everything is edible.
Yeah.
I remember thinking it was gross. I remember my initial reaction was I wouldn't eat that. I'll die on that hill.
I thought, is the tree made out of chocolate, or is the tree and just the fruit coming out of it?
No, everything was. Everything.
The grass.
Even the teacups, everything.
Yeah.
My God, when's the last time you watched it?
Yeah, literally everything.
Literally.
So the grass, you just eat the dirt underneath the grass. Okay.
That's not water. That's blue Jello flavor.
Chocolate.
I don't know. Yeah, chocolate, whatever. Anything, even the things, it's like,
the
he's got a gun.
handles.
The gun is edible.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. So
now in that world, if you're in that world, if you're a mom and a dad of a baby, is the baby edible? If the baby goes 2 in the diaper, is the 2 edible? Is the diaper edible?
Well, it was just that special room where everything was edible.
And then once all of the contestants started running their shoes through it,
that's what I'm saying. It would only
you have to take all that stuff, everything they touch.
Well, that's why you never let anyone in there.
Yeah, it'd be like ice at the Gaylord Palms. It only looks good for the first day. After that, everybody's been sticking their finger in Charlie Brown's eyeballs and pushing it. Yeah, it just, get some wear and tear on it.
Let me be the first one in.
And those Oompas, they got to run in there and they got to reset it up before more of the weirdo kids come in, right? So
they're not
Wonka,
bringing any more kids in.
No, but I mean, so Wonka is looking at him and he's like, you got to
Oh, for
go in
sure.
there,
They got to
you
scrape everything. Yeah.
You got to go in there and clean that joint
Especially
up.
that tube Augustus Gloop got stuck in.
Oh,
my
he
God.
died.
His shoes got all in the chocolate.
And then all his, decay on the
Yeah.
chocolate. You got to,
No,
dump
he went to
that
the
out.
furnace.
If I've said it one
Oh,
time,
the
I've
furnace.
said it a million times. What a long and just a really horribly drawn out way to be a pedophile.
He,
you know,
if he was a
good God.
pedophile, he would have kept the kids. He'd
No,
killed them all.
Murder.
I love them.
What
I'm the Willy Wonka
We're
of
talking
this
about
podcast.
sir. We're talking about something serious. The queso fountain.
That movie was stupid.
We have a
How
friend.
dare you? It's one of my favorite movies.
We have a friend. The only part of that movie. Okay, we'll go back to Wonka. We do have a friend that wants a queso fountain. We'll deal with that. And of course, we have a friend that wants a queso fountain. We're the trashiest show on the radio. But here's the deal. With Wonka and all of that deal, so the kids died?
It was implied, correct.
I'll tell you why I got to turn it off. I can't get past all the old people, and we've talked about this on the Friday Free Show multiple times.
The grandparents.
I can't get past the grandparents all sleeping in the same bed.
Well, they're poor. They're also drinking cabbage broth.
But I know poor people, and I don't think if I were poor with all of my grandparents, they're all dead, but if I were with all of them, I think they would sleep in different areas of the room we have, not all in one bed.
Yeah,
they can't afford more than one bed.
No, I mean, they at some point, I think my grandpa would be like, I don't need your bed. I'm not sleeping. I'm not a baby.
Well,
like he'd be mad at the sleeping arrangement.
My logic would be like 6 separate single beds, like cots, have to be cheaper than one giant Shaquille
Novelty,
O'Neal
yeah.
custom made.
It's a Ralphie
10 by 10.
May.
Yeah.
It's sponsored by Raw Rolling Papers, Ralphie May's final resting place.
It's the Florida King. It's like it's
the Alaskan King.
It's 10 by 10 custom made. The framework, the mattress itself, like 6 cots, 6
like for my 600-pound life. It's like
6 military cots is way cheaper. Like
Yeah.
for sure.
or 6 sleeping bags.
It's
I mean, I could do 6 sleeping bags at Bass Pro
Oh.
Shop, their brand. It's not the best. but-
Elderly people sleeping in a sleeping bag on the hard concrete floor.
Well, I'm just
Yeah,
saying.
you guys are worse than Willy Wonka.
Well, no, but like, were they incapacitated? All of them?
They
Could
were
they
supposed
walk?
to be, yeah. That's why everyone's mad. The meme about Uncle or Grandpa Joe jumping up.
Yeah, but
they're like,
my-
oh, I thought he
okay,
wasn't able to walk.
Again, my
they're all
point,
supposed to be invalid.
Okay, if they're all invalid, that means they're all going brown.
Yes.
And you want that spread out. You don't want it all in one giant.
I think
Shaquille
Charlie's
O'Neal
mom
bed.
was cleaning out everyone's bedpans.
Oh,
She had
Man.
the worst life.
yeah. She seemed happy too. It was a different
Nah,
time.
she didn't,
Yeah,
man.
I
She was
got-
sad as hell washing those clothes.
Man, if I'm cleaning my grandparents' bed plan, last
Yeah,
place I'm going is a fudge factory after that.
But she didn't go. Grandpa Joe did.
I'm just saying, I don't want to be around any of that. I just kiss that place goodbye.
Which also-
I'd say I hate my family and leave.
Angry that Charlie didn't take his mom. With all the work that she does,
You're right.
she didn't even get to go to the chocolate factory.
She's not even memorable.
So-called
I can't even
racist
picture
Grandpa
her.
Joe?
I can't even picture her. She's not even memorable in my. I can't even see what
Blonde
she looks
hair,
like.
pulled back in a ponytail.
Don't bring Grandpa Joe. He could be sniffing all the Oompa Loompas hair.
Oh, fell down the stairs.
All right.
That's all I got on fountains. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
The fountain, you can get a cheapo plastic Chinese
Yeah, you can get it on
made
Amazon
right
fountain
now.
for $13.
Now, why
right?
does
Yeah.
Grifton Jess? That's who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Why does she want that? Because
Novelty?
Is
I
she
don't know.
gonna
'Cause she's
use it?
She's actually getting Porky's Barbecue to cater the wedding, but then she
Okay.
also wants a queso fountain.
Or get a barbecue sauce fountain.
Yeah, that's better.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's better. Barbecue sauce fountain is better.
And then
You don't have to convince me. It's not my wedding.
I'll
Put
just
your sandwich.
put my sandwich. I'll just stand there.
Everybody's eating it.
Put your mouth underneath.
That's
I'll
fine.
just double dip the
I
whole
want the
time.
what is it? The Porky's Golden Barbecue sauce. Oh,
What would you
so
guys
good.
do if I went to a wedding and they had a chocolate fountain and I just walked up and I just pulled my pants leg up, took my shoe and sock off, and just stuck my foot directly?
I'm
I'm like, he's finally done it. He's lost all his marbles.
like, I see his earpiece. It's a practical jokers.
I was Sal. He was feeding me lines. These guys.
Oh,
Oh, I hate that show.
Me too. I hate it too.
I hate it so
God, I
much.
don't know why people like it.
I hate it.
if you're planning your wedding, like, okay, we're getting away, the more and more generations that happen, the more and more we get away from the standard wedding at a church.
Yeah.
And then the reception usually was at the church hall or whatever, like it took a real long ago. And then it was like wedding at a church, the reception, like, down the street at the area. I've been to those before. And then now it seems like the actual reception is wherever you want it to be. They still have a lot of the times either a notary or some sort of a religious person doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like that will move to just some sort of party, and then the legal marriage part will just be done whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? So you have a party, and then the actual wedding is custom tailored to whatever you want. Either religious wise or just,
kind of what I did.
Yeah. It's like that kind of thing. So now it's becoming a lot cheaper, I feel. And like the actual whole experience is more entertaining for your whole party because you can custom and tailor. I mean, I remember
say anything you want.
When I was, it was like early 2000s, a friend of mine got married, and I went to her wedding, and it was like a Catholic wedding, and my God, people used to do this a lot.
It was very long. Yeah, I went to one.
It was a 2-hour thing. You stood up and sat down. Most of it was in Latin.
Catholicism anyway.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'm just like, what the hell? Even at that time, I was like, this is insane. And then the after was very traditional, like all the standards, the DJ, the every dance, you sit down,
throwing the bouquet.
It was like, and then it was like, this is
cutting the cake.
Doesn't seem entertaining for anybody.
No.
It seems like we're going through some ritual.
The tradition.
Yeah. We sped ours up, and I was trying to balance a little bit of what I wanted, a little bit of what, obviously, a lot of bit of what Andrea wanted. A little bit of what I wanted, and a little bit about like what our families wanted. Now, her family, not super religious. I don't believe that's their business. It doesn't come up in conversation. But my mom, obviously, it meant a big deal for her to have certain things said, and to be, a certain style. But yeah, man, I look back on it now, and I don't want this to sound like super disrespectful, but there's a lot of it I don't remember, and I hate that.
I think that's everybody's wedding, right? Because it's your wedding and it's hustle and bustle. Like you can't really stop and think and enjoy the moments because you're too nervous and it's trying to make sure everything goes okay.
Yeah. It's also ridiculous because if you thought about it and you were just you weren't bound by any societal traditional stuff, and like your parents weren't expecting, because a lot of it is like if you do something too weird, then like everybody's parents thinks it's a weirdo thing. You know what I'm saying? Like you just want to not do something where everybody doesn't know what's going on because they don't know. Like everybody's used to the beats of a wedding. Like I go to the wedding, I go to the
reception.
Reception. There's a small drink time before the reception and the dance.
Oh, the meeting line, and you go by, or receiving. You go and you say hi, and
I sit down, I eat dinner, and if you throw that off, people they get confused and no one knows, and then your old aunt is like wandering off. They don't understand what's happening. So if you're not bound by that, you could just have an awesome kick-ass party.
You just have a
I'm
party.
gonna do that for a 10-year anniversary
with free booze and a band, and then you can go and just be like, "Hey, we're married today. We got it legally bound, and we're partying." You know, like that. Everybody's like, "Yay!" And then you have an awesome catered by that kind of thing, and everybody remembers like, "Hey, remember that awesome party?" Most weddings, you're like, "Yep, that's the standard," and that stinks.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. No, I'm with you 100%.
We got the standard.
But there is a part of me, if I'm just, for sake of our conversation, that I don't do really well with super kitschy, fun, like the whole thing is fun.
But why not?
I don't know.
It should be the whole thing.
You're
spending an insane amount of money.
I'm trying to answer this honestly for you guys instead of saying what I want to say. Like I know that I've been to people's weddings, and when they do the thing where they're like, oh, and then here comes in, all the, I don't know. Oh, and then everybody starts doing a Harry Potter flash mob. I don't like that.
Well,
wait, are you turning into Tom now? You hate fun? What happened?
I'm answering honestly.
I hate that too.
I'm answering honestly. I like a big fun party, but I don't.
Well, I
don't know how to describe what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
You're saying they're still doing it traditionally and then adding their own flavor to it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's stupid.
I don't like that.
I'm saying get rid of the whole traditional thing and just what's the most weddings cost, right? Like
I don't even know how to gauge that.
Yeah,
it depends on everyone's budget.
I mean, I would say at least $1,000. I mean, I'm saying the poorest wedding is at least going to cost you a grand.
More than that, I think. I mean,
$5,000.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hit a number for everybody. You're at least spending X.
I think
it's a lot.
Look up what's the mean wedding cost. You know what? Let's take a break. We'll come back.
Wow, look at you.
And I just want to see what the mean wedding cost, because I think we could reformat this whole thing and then make it good for everybody.
Wait a minute. We still have credit at a really nice wedding venue here in town. Let's plan a great wedding for somebody and give it away.
I
need to hold that for something. I got something else planned for that. Trying to recoup some of that money. A lot of money lost.
I know. I just like saying things.
It's like the COVID blew the top of our money pile away. Gotta get it back. All right. We'll be right back. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. Butler is not here. Wow.
He's on vacation.
Yeah, he's on vacation. I forgot about that. Happy vacation, Butler.
Yeah, he's on vacation again.
Now
this is the real one.
The first one of 2021, though.
This is the real vacation.
Yeah, we're anticipating lots of calamity.
Yeah,
because
what's weird is I didn't get a message back this morning. I sent him a happy birthday.
Well, his flight was prior to when you texted.
No, I know, but still,
he still hasn't responded. Though
you're only in the air to the Caribbean for about 16 minutes.
Yeah, it's not that far. It's not that far.
For sure, his wife told him put your phone or get the international thing or whatever. He didn't do anything.
No,
I'm sure his wife said, and then he probably had to put his phone on airplane mode.
How big of an edible did he take immediately waking up? Right?
I think he took one yesterday.
Or did he drink last night? Just getting and he do the thing. I do this sometimes where I'm like, it's party time. I'm gonna stay up all day and get crazy. I'm gonna get wrecked, bro.
Now, Butler goes to sleep early. He goes to sleep earlier than my son.
That's true.
Dude, earlier than me now. I'm with you guys now. I go to bed now. I've changed my ways since the beginning of the year. I typically go to bed around 11:30, which is crazy for me.
But
it's different now. The exercise has extended the amount. It's funny. You get more energy when you exercise more.
So, did you find a mean wedding
I did,
cost?
and I don't agree with this.
Oh, I like that.
What is it?
Quite a few different, because I checked different websites, because I'm like, that doesn't seem right. $30,000.
No.
Yeah, that seems right.
That's way high.
No.
That seems right to
Everybody
me.
in the chat was less than that.
I guess.
Mine was less than that.
Okay, so is this like, hey, we're going to take every wedding that's ever been done, put them into one big wedding pile, and then take an average?
Dude, most of...
so are we offset by those $100 million weddings?
No, most of my wedding costs way more than that, and I'm not telling you this. I know. But my father-in-law has got money, and he's the one who paid for it.
Spend it on?
Well, there were certain things that were important. Like it was on a boat, for Christ's sake.
The yacht that they rented was like $26,000.
Oh my
God! Just the boat.
I mean, it was a
the
massive.
Photographer was $5,000.
Sam,
I'm trying to think of all the other insane stuff.
Sam,
the thing was like $50,000.
It was like a party boat that you ate on, and it had like multiple restrooms and entertainment. It was insane.
By the way, I am 100%. I mean, here's the. I guess you can't put a yes, you can. It wasn't worth it. I mean, insanely not worth it.
Valuable memories. And he's like, yes, you can. And then you talked yourself.
But the memory is not like. But for
wasn't worth the $50,000.
We've planned and thrown some awesome parties for lots of people and given lots of things away and stuff.
TC,
nothing close to $50,000.
TC, we didn't spend that when you and I took our families to Colorado, and we did it on a budget and cooked at a place that we didn't even have to buy lodging and had a better time than my wedding. But I had the best vacation I've ever had in Colorado. My wedding, I don't remember it. Do you know that Puff and Stuff catered it? The food was phenomenal. I didn't eat any of the food, not one bite.
But your wedding had to have been at least close to 30 or more.
Andrea would know that number
because the venue was super nice, the catering was super nice, the pictures were super nice. All of our suits.
I know the money for the photos. I know the money for the photos.
The desserts, like, dude, the
photos were 4K.
Yeah, your wedding had to been
that.
30 grand at least. I mean, like, it just piles up, dude. The average wedding photographer is like $2,500 to $5 grand. I mean, talk to Tony. Like, you can't get a wedding photographer for under $2,500. That's any decent person, right? And because everything with a wedding costs more. So then you're like all the bride and groom stuff. Like, if you just have a wedding at a venue, like, let's pick a venue, like a downtown venue, or even the veranda, like that we were gonna do. Like,
that's a nice ass venue.
So you do your wedding.
People would kill each other to get married there.
So let's say you have a couple hundred people in your wedding, and catering for that is what? Over 10 grand easy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for a couple hundred people, you're talking 10, 15 grand. The venue itself is $5 grand. All the officiating, all that stuff just adds up. It's like
for mine, it was even
it's not worth it.
DJ, we did have to pay the minister. I'm remembering that now. The cupcakes and the wedding cake, that was very expensive because we went with Sweet by Holly, and then of course we had to pick the place where the lady was on this season of Cupcake Wars or whatever the garbage is. I don't know. She's a wonderful lady. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying it ain't gonna be like, hey, this one's on the house.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that, like, as things progress away and like old traditions die off, and then everybody we're in a society now that, like, everybody's is following their own trend and their own bubble, and everybody's like, it's a bunch of micro environments. So I feel like you take 10 grand and then you just throw a party for your friends and family, and you could do it in a way, because then you don't have to.
I wish I would have done that.
You don't have to get the traditional wedding, because if it says wedding on it, that means it's 45% more expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that goes with everything. Like, you hire a wedding photographer, a wedding DJ.
It's like entertainment on New Year's. It's like if you're trying to book a guy, get your wallet out.
And
specialty at this point.
Ask anybody in that business if they're a wedding DJ, a wedding band, you're able to charge more, because the psychology is people spend more for the wedding because it's the biggest day of their lives. It's all marketing, right? The wedding industry is just just like the diamond industry and everything. It's just marketed to be like, hey, you have to spend the money because this is the biggest day of your life. If you just had a party at a venue, you rent the venue, you have a band or whatever the hell you want to do, you have some catering. Like, if it's not labeled a wedding, the catering is cheaper. That's just the truth of it. And then because that's how the business is.
You also need to look, if we're giving, at this point we're just giving tips. So you got to look
Listen up, Jessica.
You got to look for places that cater, and she did a good one. Yeah. She picked Porky's as her catering. I'll tell you why that's a great. You're not going for your standard. I went for the standard. The food was great. Puff and Stuff did a phenomenal job. Look, it was exactly what Andrea and I wanted. It was. But if I had it to do over again, it'd be Porky's or Gringos. And that's the way it would be, because you'd get more for the same amount of money.
I don't even care about the food at weddings.
I do. I love drinks. Food and drinks is all I want to do is feed you up.
And music and fun. Like, I don't care. Like, I just want to have a good time.
I
hate the sit-down dinner.
Dude, I went to, and Daniel went there too. We went to a wedding for a rich person, and it was at a very nice hotel in the
Grand Ballroom.
In the Grand Ballroom.
In the Grand effing Ballroom.
They had a.
I've never been in there for anything.
They had a band, and this person's insanely rich, so who cares? They don't care about that money.
They had a 16-person. Like a rock band, like a swing, like party band,
and then
horns.
There was hundreds of people there, and then you sat down in traditional ballroom, and they served you your your fish or chicken or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and then it was like a multiple course meal, it was like like salad, and then your bread and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they had like the little the photo booth and stuff, and that wedding.
Hold your mustache up.
Was like 200 grand or more, like a $250,000. I heard numbers thrown out that it was insane.
TC, the band I think was $50,000.
Yeah.
Because
it was like a well-known
section, and a DJ guy that would scratch in the songs.
It was cool
was cool.
But for $250,000,
I could buy a damn house.
Well, not even that. I guarantee you, I could throw a more memorable party.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, and I didn't even go to the. Who knows what the damn actual? I only went to a reception. Like I didn't go to the ceremony.
Oh yeah.
But it's like so. Then you spend a bunch of minutes. Like who remembers most weddings they go to? It's all the standard. Like most of my friends just did the standard.
Yeah.
And you go there, and for the money, I guarantee you could throw a more memorable experience for everybody.
Now, my buddy Kevin Vincent, I think that's what he did. I think he pulled back a little on everything he wanted to do, and then he threw like his main idea at like the stuff that would last for a long time. I'll give you an example. I think he kind of called in his favors and used his money for like he had a DeLorean show up so he and his wife could take photos like they're Back to the Future. He had stormtroopers and like so he made the experience. The whole entire wedding ended up being very quick and intimate, and the party aspect was great, but he spent his money on the things that he knew he and his wife would like. For instance, when they introduced him, right, and the DJ's about to start and you're about to start getting fun, drinks and food, he came out like with R2D2 and C3PO.
Oh, I don't like that.
And I know you don't like that, but but
he likes it.
It did add to the experience because he did it for like the photos. You know what I mean? Like I never had a problem spending money on my photos because those are going to last a long time.
But he's still doing variation on the standard.
He is doing a variation on the standard.
I wondered if you invited everybody to your wedding and then you just had like some outdoor venue where like you threw a party, you had some tables and chairs and stuff, and you just got up there on stage and you told everybody like, hey, we got married today. Everybody claps and everything.
Yes, but. A lot of people like to get the dress and dress up and get the nice pictures, not just the party. Like, they like the traditions. Like, they like walking down the aisle and looking beautiful like a princess or, you know what I'm saying? Like,
the bride.
And the families will pressure people like they want them to have a quote-unquote proper traditional
That's
wedding.
a great question. Would you, let me ask you this, because I would, I'll try and get a hold of Andrea. Maybe we could call her and ask her. Is there any way Crystal would have done a extremely non-traditional wedding, like no dress?
Ceremony, just reception?
No.
Because I don't know if Andrea would have.
I think a lot of women wouldn't.
I think maybe she would have wanted that, but I'm not sure.
Now, if you asked her now, she's like, yeah, completely ridiculous. I wish we would have just done that. But at the time, how would you know? At the time, it's the first time you're getting married. You're like, I want this. This is what I've been told this is what's been marketed to me my entire life. Also, her dad is paying for it, and he's inviting his business colleagues and stuff to this thing. So
it's a family thing.
His daughter's getting married, and then so there's also that aspect of this, which is a lot of if the father of the bride is paying for it and he's inviting his friends, then he's got to do the standard because he doesn't want to be embarrassed by some sort of avant-garde wedding that like his other friends and family and relatives, they want to just do the standard because if you deviate from the standard, then you're some sort of weirdo.
Yeah,
you're right.
You're right.
You're like, I went to a weirdo
to your family. I get up there, I'm wearing a kilt, I'm jumping around to Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit, and then everybody's like, well, your son is a weirdo.
Yeah, like at a certain point,
embarrass the family.
I've realized this thing isn't even for me. I'm just putting on the baggy suit with the big shoulder pads and just walking through. I'm like, I don't care.
So gets married.
I'm like, whatever. I'm not paying for it. I'm just doing the thing. Like, I don't care about any of this. It doesn't even matter to me. Obviously. And then you just go through the things because it makes everybody else happy.
Yeah.
But then you start looking at it. You're like, this seems like a lot of money just to make everybody else happy, but doesn't even make them like after they're left. They're like, all right, that's it's like it's like it seems like such a waste.
From our Twitch chat room, I like to you guys are killing it in the chat room with like really insightful, cool comments. Christine says, and I agree with her because Andrea's brother is doing this right now. In fact, we're not even going there. Millennials seem to like the more private and intimate things, just paying for a photographer. I believe that's what her brother is doing. He's just going somewhere. He invited 2 family members, like his mom and dad. She's inviting 2 family members, and they're meeting a guy, and he's marrying them, and they're getting really nice photos, and that's it.
Also,
is that because of the pandemic though, or that's what they wanted?
Maybe a little bit of pandemic. It's really what they want. I believe, without spreading their business, I hope I'm not saying something that the family doesn't know about, but I believe that they are saving their money to buy property. And
that's smart.
They are buying a spot in Colorado, I believe. And they decided they'd rather invest in the land. So they're getting married on the land. And that's the whole thing. I'm not invited, and our family's not. But I mean, they want us there, but no, it's not. We're not going to fly back.
Dude,
it's just they're doing their thing, little intimate deal.
Oh man, my pet peeve is when people get upset that they didn't get invited to a wedding.
I hate that. It's not
God
your wedding.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Oh, it
that's
makes me mad.
ridiculous. Also,
that happened at my wedding, and to this day, people are still upset about it. And they were out of state, people that are out of state that, by the way, never talked to, got upset because they didn't get invited to my wedding. And I'm
if they're listening, it was
they
awesome.
Are not listening.
It was so good. Oh God, it was the loveliest wedding,
dude.
And my wedding was during the work week, right? It was a Thursday. They live out of state. We never talked to them, and they have 3 little kids that were in school. Why the hell would I invite them to
They're looking for a reason to not like you or be mad at you. That's all it is.
I would never get mad if someone did not invite me to their wedding.
No!
Tom cannot get paid. He's mad.
Every time I'm getting my suit on for a wedding, I'm mad about it. Like even if it's my friends.
I mean, I like going to weddings, but I'm certainly not going to be upset with someone if they don't invite me.
I'm putting my business shoes on, and I'm just mad. I'm grumpy the whole time. Now, I want to go and get loaded,
right?
But I'm just mad that I have to go through all this.
Oh, chat room. Neo Del Rio checking in. Wedding horror story show would be fun. Maybe we can set that up.
We've done that, but we can do it again.
Yeah, I mean, there's never enough horrible stories for me. I love them. Let's see what else here. Tommy G. I didn't know this. He said my dad was pissed we didn't invite him.
Oh, you didn't invite your dad, Tommy?
What did he do?
We invited my father-in-law, and he just didn't show up.
Here's the thing. I don't know him, your dad, Tommy, but I'm going to say you didn't invite him because he's toxic? Is that why?
I hope he just forgot. That'd be awesome.
I feel like there was something I was supposed to do today.
Tom wants it that they loved each other, were best of friends. Also, he forgot, ruined the relationship.
Also, does he have to be invited? Like, I feel like you would be aware your son was getting married and you just show up in the suit.
Oh,
right?
Tommy, I'm sorry, buddy. That's a rough one.
I mean, there's some people you don't really have to send an invite to.
Weddings are not. I mean, my wedding was basically no drama, completely uneventful. The only thing that was mildly entertaining at it was my mom was convinced that since my dad had passed, that a swirl of leaves she saw on the ground was his spirit. And that's not true. That's just not.
You don't know. Hold on. You don't know if that's true.
Mother, don't even
or
do
not.
this.
There's no way to know.
Oh, so now you're going all in with my dead mom and her belief of my dad's leaf spirit flying around during the wedding. It's not true.
I'm just saying that you can't definitively say it's not true. We just don't know.
I can definitively say that my dad was blowing around in the leaves.
You can listen. I don't believe it either. I'm just saying.
No way to know.
You know, to be a pure skeptic, you can't say it is or isn't about anything, really.
All right.
Until there's mathematical proof.
Oh my God! Are you writing? Are you writing that down? My Lord. You want to finish the voicemail messages that we started earlier in the last hour, because we have been getting a plethora of them coming in. Yes, sir. Back to weddings. I've always been mad again.
I will say, like, when Tiffany did her wedding in Mexico, a destination wedding, they're a pain in the ass.
That was fun,
but they're only a pain in the ass, I feel like, if they're someplace not as fun as Mexico or something, you know, like if it's you have to go to Nebraska or like, you know what I'm saying, like some sort of you know, I went to Arkansas for the Grizz's wedding, and
that's not a destination wedding.
What'd you do?
That's just you went to where he lives. That's not a destination.
Where are you guys going?
The bride's family,
there's a lot of great resorts in Dubuque.
we did go to a sweet strip club, and then the Uber driver did donuts in some sort of grocery store parking lot.
You got to look for any bit of goodness you can get out of Arkansas, I feel like, right? And if it's a really kick-ass strip club and doing donuts with your Uber driver, I feel like that's okay.
I forgot the actual town we're in, but it was like a tiny hipster town. Like it was
out there.
It was someplace. It wasn't like just middle of the road.
You look around, you see some fixed geared bikes, and you're like, all right, there's IPAs around here somewhere. Like,
it was something like that.
They might have a brewery. They might have a brewery.
I can't remember
where. I'm seeing a lot of like really, really tight cut off jean shorts and Toms. Those silly shoes.
It was like a street with the brick buildings, breweries.
Yeah,
It was like
you knew. You're like, hold on a second.
This is not the Arkansas I thought. Anyway, let's do some voicemail.
All right. I'm going to go with this one because, okay, this voicemail came in from BDM Neil. We love BDM Neil.
Yeah.
He calls too much, but we love him. And like any person that calls too much, I'm never going to tell you call too much. Well, I'll do it on the air. I'll do it on the air, but I'm not going to email you and say you call too much because I'd prefer just to go through what you leave. This one's funny, though, because I don't think I knew BDM Neil. I'm assuming he's Puerto Rican, and I didn't know that because of this story. So here.
Talk about braces and stuff like that, or like dentists, and they're like, oh, I'm sure if you pay dentist cash, they'll cut the price. So I got my wisdom teeth taken out, but I went to, it was in Puerto Rico because my grandma was paying for it. So they went to like the best dental doctor in Puerto Rico, and they were like, hey, and my grandma was like, yeah, it's $800, basically $200 a tooth, pretty much. So I don't and I know here wisdom teeth get to be crazy in some cases and things like that. But yeah, basically my grandma paid cash. So I know.
So his grandma, there's a lot of details I'm missing here. I assumed that his grandma was Puerto Rican, and that's why she was going to go to the best Puerto Rican dentist because maybe she knew the best Puerto Rican dentist, or should I assume that he is like a gringo and he flew
I know a
to
lot
Puerto
of people
Rico.
that went to Mexico to get dental work.
Really?
Yeah.
So that is a thing.
Yeah.
You go to Colombia
All right.
to get breast augmentation because
A lot of different like plastic
Yeah,
surgeries.
yeah.
I am not aware of this.
It's just you could save thousands of dollars.
Oh my God, Grady Seasons. He says they numb you up with Bacardi. That's
Yeah.
funny. I love Bacardi.
I'm in.
Yeah, me too, man.
I
I need a rum drink.
Although, I guess, what is wisdom teeth?
I'm actually about to get mine taken out soon.
What do they quote you?
I haven't yet because for whatever reason, dentists and doctors don't like to answer their phones. So here I am calling them for the past week, and no one's picked up my phone call or called me back. I'm just trying to get a goddamn consultation.
I
What
know.
do you need done?
My wisdom teeth taken
Tom
out.
and I can do that. We can do that.
I know they.
There's two things we can do: dentistry and case of fountains.
I think.
All right.
I think your insurance takes care of that. Like
Not all of it.
No. There's some portion of it, but
Plus my insurance sucks.
My wisdom
Yeah,
teeth
yeah.
are in sideways. So when they took mine out, they had to do that maneuver where they chisel half of it out. They break it.
Yeah.
If they're
And then they chisel it out of your head.
I think there's something to that where if there's actually a medical problem with your wisdom teeth, it technically goes under your health insurance, not your dental, which basically
No.
would change it. I don't know. I thought
No, because my husband got his taken out a couple years ago. It was definitely dental insurance, but they don't actually cover that much.
What are wisdom teeth for again?
Nothing. Literally nothing.
Is this
Yeah,
an
just-
evolutionary deal that
Yeah.
we don't need them anymore? And
We never needed them.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Well,
So you can put this under like what?
Well, I
the
guess-
gallbladder. You can put
Yeah.
this under the what's the other thing in there that we don't need?
well,
Appendix?
The rock cruncher we have.
do your wisdom?
We have a
Some
rock
people's wisdom
Not
teeth.
appendix?
Do they ever come in? Or do they
I
always?
I don't think everybody's does. Like mine are fully grown in, and I've never had any issues with them.
They're just underneath. Well,
Mine aren't underneath.
Oh, they're actually out.
Yeah, they're full grown.
Goes to Manu Bull from the chat room with insurance. If they aren't impacted, mine $75 a tooth last year. That's not bad.
That's great.
Well, that's
You got
nothing.
Good, you got amazing
Oh,
insurance.
that's what this insurance is.
That's not gonna be my
Like
case.
no, it's not mine. I thought I had good insurance. I have a broken filling. My major filling, the one in the back that's like silver. You know it.
I'm not familiar with their.
You can't
teeth.
see it?
No, I never look at.
Oh
it.
really?
How often
it's
are
funny.
you opening your mouth that wide
Yeah,
for
I
us?
always walk around my mouth open, just waiting for people.
You're gonna get a doo-doo fly in there. You better watch out.
Honestly, one of you could be like, "I've had no pinky ever." Like, and then I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
like,
we know you're oblivious.
I'm oblivious to everything.
Well, it's cracked.
Did you notice I changed my hair?
And I need it.
I was afraid to say something
You
because-
changed your hair because he gets horny.
well, when I notice differences, I'm afraid because I'm like, "Oh, you got," and then like, "I've had
did
this
that 2 weeks ago.
or the whole time I've had this since you've known me," and then I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't want to
That
confess."
sounds terrible. It's torturous inside your head.
No,
It is.
I just don't say anything to anybody.
All right. That's good.
It's easy.
Actually, when you put it that way, it sounds pretty nice.
That's why our company's going under.
No, I just
don't tell us anything.
I don't make comments about any changes on anybody's whatever because I don't know.
I hope Butler comes back Eminem bleach blonde.
All right, dude.
And we don't say anything.
So do your dental math. What do you think this? Unless you heard me talk about it, what do you think my cracked filling to get it repaired? What do you think it's going to cost with insurance? With insurance.
Cracked filling with insurance, $1,200.
I have Florida Blue, I think.
What do they have to do? Just take it out and put a new one in?
Yeah, they're just gonna clean that area out and just kind of repair the crack and put a new one.
I think I just had this done last year.
$400.
Yeah,
I wish
it was.
I said $1,200 at first, and I went down.
I know you shouldn't have. You should have gone up. $1,800 with my insurance.
That's ridiculous, dude.
And he's like, but you don't have to do anything if it's not bothering you. And I'm like, well, it's not bothering me, so I'm not gonna. And this is so, Tom Van. Do you know how hard it is for me to not do anything to it, even though I know that it needs to be repaired?
Oh yeah,
you're good at that. Like you can.
Oh, I don't care. There's lots of things wrong with me.
I cannot. I don't even feel it, but my hypochondria, I feel like, is creating a fake tooth. And I'm fighting
Phantom
it.
tooth pain.
I'm fighting it, and it's like me trying to get better. You know, I'm like literally. There's nothing wrong with that tooth.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to shell out $1,800 when I got all these trips planned and things I want to try to do for my family with insurance, dude.
But I think that's more than I paid for a root canal one time, and that's way more. I mean, I just had this done, and it was like $300.
It's a large filling. I mean, I don't know if that matters.
No. Once
it just came up on the little code thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like he gave me an estimate. It's not like you're looking at car damage and you're like, yeah, that'll take me about
I know.
an hour and a half. Like, he literally put like 36441. It's the code. Insurance, multiply, $1,800. I'm like, she's like, yeah, you might want to see if, we can find maybe a different a doctor that maybe would be a little bit cheaper.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I want to go with you guys because I've been going here for 10 years. I don't want to go to...
Maybe maybe it's different
opinion.
network than your insurance, because sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
It's like, we don't... I don't know how any of this damn thing works either, because
insurance.
I hate it. There's like, yeah. Because there's no easy...
Like, what am I paying for? You don't cover anything.
Exactly. It was ridiculous.
Scam.
Bye-bye. Welcome back to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha's here. We're gonna do some voicemails because these have a tendency to pile up. I don't like to get constipated on voicemails, so let's jump into this one right here.
Hey, it's Tony BDM from Idaho, and I just listened to the BDM show because I am a BDM, therefore I can listen to them. And you guys are talking about doing good for people and being remembered. I cannot tell you how much you've improved my life. I get to be joyful and grateful and have so much fun every day because you guys grind hard. And I had a feeling that Sam got emotional at the end of the show, and we possibly cut it out. I might be imagining this, but
I don't know what the
love
hell
all
you're talking
three of you
about.
so much. And if it weren't for you, I'd be killing motherfuckers. But I'm just loving everybody. And you do so much good, guys, and you could do more. Bye.
What happened at the end of a BDM show where I got emotional?
I don't know. That's why I flagged it. I don't remember any of that. I even went back and listened to the show, and I don't know what this guy's talking about, but the mushrooms he's microdosing are phenomenal.
I think it was like 2 or 3 BDM shows ago.
What happened? I cried?
No. I think we were just talking about something. I was talking about Bicycle Bob, maybe. And then I was like, how, like... it was a family friend of my wife's, and like I knew this guy, and then his funeral, you found out so many things that good he did for the community and stuff. And
behind the bicycle,
everybody,
the Bob story,
was talking about how all these charitable things he did and like people took care of, and then it's like, oh man, like didn't know all this stuff, and then it's like you want to be remembered.
I don't want to be remembered.
I think we were talking about that. In the grand scheme of things, a long enough scale, it's all just ash. If you think, I mean, the whole planet and whatever it is, 1 billion years will not be here. So it's like, it's hard to get past that for me. Where it's like,
think that we're already the ruins. Like, I think sometimes that we're already the ruins. Like, we're just the ruins of what was organized and far greater before us.
Well, why isn't there any, evidence of?
I'm just saying things for people to be like, "Oh, he's talking."
Yeah.
Don't.
Or you can
it's
get
not that
into.
deep. Don't take it that deep.
No, you can get into the. This is all just simulation stuff, and like get real high
People
into that.
love
I'm starting to think
People
that.
love that. There was we had a sweet spot. I want to say like 2 years before the pandemic, where you had a lot of influencers that were like trying to I think bamboozle people by trying to get us to think that they truly believe that they were like clones or replicants or and it's just all garbage. It's like, how much time do you have?
Well, with conspiracy theories, you can talk into circles with everything. So you start doing the this is all simulation thing, and then you're like, whoa, wait a minute. And then you start saying, well, what about this? And be like, simulation. If it was like religion or anything, it's like, God. Whatever you want to point at that's unexplained, you could just say that word that explains it, but with a
very vague.
Well, like a supernatural tinge to it. It's like with a simulation or some sort of like a conspiracy. So you're like, well, what about this? And you're like, well, that's part of the simulation here. And of
course.
You can't even see it, man.
Well, yeah. So okay, then it's all the same. All right, I'm moving on.
Just move on.
I'm going to eat my goulash and watch my shows and slowly die like everybody else.
Goulash.
Who cares?
Food for ghouls.
I'm saying,
watch my show.
Like what is it? Come on.
No, you're right. I'm with you 100%. And man, Sam has been nailing this with the ghoul puns and but we should make goulash. We should make an official
delicious.
recipe.
Well, it's the simulation
He's
people.
back. He's back in it all.
What am I supposed to do with that information? After you tell me it's a simulation, I'm like, okay, I buy into it. All right, I agree with you. It is
Totally a simulation.
So what? I still have to go, and my wife's yelling at me. I gotta bring my
break
kids.
out, man.
I gotta bring my kids to school. I gotta pay my taxes. I gotta do my stuff. What do you want me to do? You want
From
me
the chat room, they say nothing tastes worse than simulated goulash. Ghost, that's a quality joke, and you win something for that, man. That made me chuckle. That's very funny.
Well, tell me what to do after you tell me it's a simulation. Because how to make it better? Because I'm looking around. I'm trying to make it better.
You're just in it. You're not the one in charge, man.
In fact,
I still like goulash at shows. It all just come back to that.
It doesn't make this whole thing better by telling everybody I think it's a simulation. They just think I'm crazy, and then my business goes. My family.
You're just not supposed to, get in your head about anything. You're like, oh, this is part of the simulation, man.
Oh,
I can't change anything. This is just how it is.
Okay, well, there's like nothing matters scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
Or just like,
you already lived the nothing matters.
Yes,
life,
I'm
so you're
living
good. You're good with the simulation.
He's light years ahead of us.
All I could do is
it's fine.
What
nothing matters. We're all here to get out of here. You might be the king of the simulation.
Yeah, you are. But you are our show's Terry Bradshaw. The only reason I say that is because of this.
Hey guys, Mike from St. Augustine here. You were talking about Tony Hawk and him being asked, hey, you look like Tony Hawk? Well, here's a good one. I was in Hard Rock Hotel in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in the elevator, heading down to the lobby, and as we get down towards the first floor, I look over at this guy in his brown leather jacket and a cabbie derby, and I'm like, hey, excuse me, anybody ever tell you look like Terry Bradshaw? And as the door opened, he swung around, took his hat off, curtsied, and he said, yeah, because I am. And then he turned around and disappeared. I couldn't find him to take a picture or nothing. I'm like, where did he go? It was interesting. But also, you're talking about roller coasters, Dollywood.
What did he yell about Dollywood at the end?
Look at how mad Tom is.
No, I'm not mad. I'm just saying, you rode an elevator with Terry Bradshaw.
Yeah, no,
he's a human being.
He disappeared.
He just walked off the elevator and went to his better life.
It was interesting. But also, you're talking about roller coasters, Dollywood. Roller coaster gets to the top and dumps you out into a tube. It's called I don't know what it's called now, but back in the day, in the 80s, it was at Six Flags Great Adventure in New Jersey, and it's called the Sarajevo Bobsled, named after Sarajevo Winter Olympics in Yugoslavia, which no longer exists. And it was kind of cool how it worked, and it was a different ride every time, depending on who was in the car with you, and which way you shifted your weight. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was my favorite roller coaster because
and
it
Dollywood,
was it was different, and every time you would ride it, I remember I rode it once with me, and then I rode it like alone, and then I rode it once with like a bunch of other people, and I made it like way faster. It's like, I don't know, it's cool.
Those kind of rides are a thing of the past just because they're
Safety
too unpredictable. Yeah, insurance and stuff. Like I'm sure. I mean, you showed me the video of that.
It did look cool.
I don't even think they're out there anymور, man. I think most of them are at your lower level.
It looked cool, but also sketchy.
Yeah,
and then
sketchy.
I'm sure when the Geico looks at it, he's like, no,
Geico.
I don't know what that. You know what I'm saying? But he's
I
like,
fully understood what you were saying.
He's like, nah, none of this. Like, I'm gonna take this out of here. You know, that's because they all, even if something
Is
looks
that a roller coaster that's going down there by itself? We can't have that.
Even if their track record is good and they didn't have that many injuries, when something looks sketchy, I don't think people want to be a part of it. They don't want to insure it.
I think the main problem, and we had a bunch of people that emailed me about this particular roller coaster. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it was a roller coaster that would go up on the tracks, and as you went to the top to be dumped out to start your, I guess, descent down, it would dump you into, like, for lack of a different way to say it, like a water slide kind of PVC half tunnel.
Yeah, and it was made out of wood.
Yeah, it was made out of wood.
It was like a bobsled.
Yeah.
And you were free floating in a wheeled car, and you would just kind of ride.
Cool runnings.
You would just kind of ride the walls.
You would bobsled down.
Bobsled coaster is what they're called.
Yeah, bobsled coaster, and then it would stop, and then it'd go back on the tracks, and then lift you up back down the bobsled coaster.
It was awesome.
Maybe they still have some of them, but I'm sure it's re-engineered. Yeah, but there wasn't the same, like when these things were built. The insurance, regulations were different.
Yeah.
You know, like look at that. Did you guys watch that documentary about the water park?
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard they're thinking about reopening that, by the way.
But
I don't know if they are or not, but it's there's rumors.
It'll be completely,
it'll be different.
You know, it'll be all safe, and that's the whole point of the damn action park was that look how dangerous this insane thing was that with seemingly no regulation run by a crazy person, and that only existed because of the time frame.
Yeah.
You know, you couldn't even come up with the idea now, like because they would be like, nope.
Like I'm honestly
You'll be
surprised that those alpine coasters that we rode in Colorado are open because they are very fast and very fun. There's one that
not
Maisie,
dangerous though.
There's another. It's not dangerous. There's another one that Maisie wanted to ride. It seems dangerous
Yeah,
because
it
you're
does,
hauling
kinda.
ass, but it's so fun. There was one at Snowmass that we wanted to ride, but the line was too long because I guess they're all over the place, but they're really fun, man.
But the cart is affixed to the track. There's no way to get it off. You're in a seatbelt. It's just safe as any roller coaster. Yeah,
it's probably safer because it's almost less mechanical. You know? I mean, there's nothing really powering it. We got to take a break, and we'll be back with more A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan right after this.
Welcome back from A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
Hold on a second. Welcome back from A Corporate Time.
That was weird.
Scared me.
That was weird.
Wait a minute. What are we doing now?
We're in the simulation.
Yeah. What's happening? Are you doing a new show? Are you going rogue?
It's weird that my brain said that, even though I've said welcome back to A Corporate Time so many damn times. You'd think it would just be auto.
You've had a bad day today.
I have.
Why are you saying that? He has not had a bad day.
He's become more pop this morning. He can't find things that are right in front of him. He couldn't figure out his phone. He said his emails disappeared.
Did you notice how quiet I got? Because he was in there and he does this.
You know what? I figured it out.
He does this around me. Okay, go ahead. I don't want to stop your thought. Go ahead.
It's okay. Travis isn't here today.
Yeah.
And I think he's kind of adopted the role of
your assistant of your caretaker over there.
Yeah, my nurse.
Well, your computer
my
mommy,
wife does.
Computer mommy.
Yeah, because he knows he's got my stamps at a certain place and all stuff. So when I'm yelling, where the hell, he knows.
Where are my goddamn stamps? Here they are, Granddad.
Yeah.
Here they are.
And then I couldn't get into my passwords or the Amex account. I was screaming about that.
Did you see him throw his phone?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, he threw his phone, and then afterwards, he was like, my phone won't work.
And
I love it.
That's why it didn't work.
No, that isn't why. But I do like it when I see him because I am the angerman. I am the one with zero self control. I am reactionary. You are not. But I do like it when you throw your phone and then you say, my phone's not working, because that makes me laugh. Because, yeah, of course it's not working. You threw it.
Well, it's
broken. It's been broken for months. I told you to buy a new phone. You have the money to buy a new phone.
Yeah,
That's why we work.
It's just time. You have to go to the place. Like, I need it. Like, I wish I would wake up and my new phone was there. Like, I'll pay extra for that. I don't want to go to the freaking AT&T store, sit down. The guy cursed. The guy comes.
This is how you know it's real.
And then I'm like, I want a new phone, please. And then he starts selling me the plan. I'm like, no, I just want I'll pay you cash. Give me the phone. And then he has to do the whole thing and the rigmarole. And then I'll be there for an hour. And then he's got to plug it in. I don't want to do all that. I don't have time to do all that.
No.
So, that just get frustrated every single day. And
you know what you do have time for? An interview with other broadcasters who do a podcast.
It's embarrassing that we started everything off like that.
Well, it's also embarrassing that I leave them, if you're watching this on Twitch or on YouTube, I leave them in the bottom left-hand corner so you can watch. So this is my new thing.
Yeah.
You can watch how uncomfortable they're. I don't even have their audio up right now. They could be talking. They could be waving their hands. They could be stabbing each other. You never know what you're going to get, but they have to sit there, and I force them to listen to us go through our old man complaints. I forced them to do that.
We shouldn't do that because
I'm gonna pull them up now.
They're like, "What are we doing here?" And then I feel like we know
look how pro they are. They've got like logos. They look good. It looks like they're all they dress.
Marketing, man. All marketing.
Yeah, you guys are dressed similarly. There's a marketing vibe there. You guys know your CTAs and all that garbage that people throw around.
They're new.
Doing it.
They're new media.
Like we do.
They're young guns. The YouTubers.
Yeah, you guys are young guns.
Yeah. We're old man terrestrial radio.
It's rough over here, guys.
All we know is interns, mouse traps, bikini contests.
I mean,
that's where we came from.
We are so old man radio that we lose, and this is how most old men radio are. We lose one intern, can't run the show.
Yes, you're right.
Butler's gone.
That's right.
We lose one effing intern, can't run the show. Well, guess what? Sorry, Real Radio, and I'm just saying it. Most of the guys up there, if they work their way to a really good position, you lose one intern, they can't run the show.
To be fair, I have helped Tom all morning. It's driving me nuts.
It is driving you nuts. I almost asked you to go with me to Sam Ash just to give you a break. I had to buy some cables.
I had to help him find stamps while that was going on.
That happened when I was back in the radio days when I was the producer. I didn't show up for work. People were playing country music over their phone and the microphone. No one knew how to do anything. That's right. I've achieved my almost the holy grail.
You're almost there.
And when I hit it, it blows my sleeves off. Sorry. So we have from the YouTube show Scotch for Dummies, Drew and Mark on the show. How you doing, Drew and Mark?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
That's Drew.
We're doing great. Welcome back from a corporate time.
Or is it two? I got an answer for you, though, Tom. It sounds to me like you need an intern, but it also sounds like maybe you've lost an intern or two.
There's been some indiscretions. There was I used to have
a lot of cigar play.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
In the 90s, this guy, they called him Edward Cigar Fingers. Cigar hands.
Yeah. Then I used to
have my own joke.
I used to have a massage table in here. Things got rough.
He had a couple Lauer buttons where he could lock things. It was crazy.
We are doing it way wrong. We're missing the boat here.
So, guys, tell us about how you started Scotch for Dummies.
Wow. So about 6 years ago, honestly, I like to tie it back to what you guys started and reading your guys' history and where you come from. It's honestly kind of the similar road. There was 4 of us guys. We live on the same street. We got kids, family at the same age and stuff. And we started getting together on Thursday nights just to hang out and play a couple games of darts, drink a glass of whiskey, put on some, mindless TV like Chappelle Show or Drunk History or something that we could, watching Blazing Saddles or something to make you laugh. And I said to him, man, we do this every Thursday. We should put a camera in front of ourselves and actually share it with people that might be interested. And, you get your first 10 subs and you're like, holy cow, there's 10 people that really want to watch this.
We were so stupid. We're like, oh my God, we've got 10 subs. This is amazing. This is so cool. And then we're like, what are we doing now?
So, we honestly didn't know what we were doing because we didn't know much about Scotch whiskey. And so we just started journaling it on YouTube. And, 33,000 subscribers later, we've built a community and a ton of people that we love. We've learned a ton with Scotch. And if COVID wouldn't have gotten away, we would have taken 25 people to Scotland last year, but that didn't happen. So.
Wow.
Wow,
That's exciting.
So
First of all, that's a huge mistake. Why would you want to spend any time with any of your listeners?
We did that for years.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
we like to bully our listeners, and then
They're all fat and disgusting.
yeah. I mean, maybe there's one, but
love
the
ours.
rest
You
of
bet.
So I'm interested in like what was the tipping point, like because you're right that we have a similar story to that. We started this podcast,
We
12
just wanted
years
to
ago.
get together, play some darts, listen to some Kid Rock, maybe some Jimmy's Chicken Shack. We just want some alt metal, man.
And so it was a while before we realized that this could be a business. And so for you guys, like, I know you went through that period where it's like new and you got 10 subs and you're like, whoa, this is cool.
We do that. We'll see, like, I'll be like, this week this month we gained 44 people. I'll be like, 44? I do it to you all the time. And you're like, what do we do with it? And I'm like, I don't know. Call the Scotch guy.
So what was the tipping point where you were like, oh, this could actually be a business. We could do something with this?
Well, I'm not sure we would call it a business. I mean, it kind of is. It's more of a hobby than anything else. It still is. We all have day jobs. We all put our energy there, but it's kind of something that's just grown. And we started getting subs and people interested in it and subscribers. And we started thinking about how, maybe we can turn this into a little bit more of a journey for us to share with you, but also maybe turn it into some extra revenue on the side. And honestly, we don't make a dime off of any revenue. All goes back into the business in a sense. So we're still technically treating it as a hobby, although it's definitely turned that road into more of this is a job kind of situation.
That's where we fork because we're stinking rich. With
Put money back into the company. You crazy?
You never do that.
Put the money back into my wallet.
We take 99%.
Yeah, and we put it into our ski vacations. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. Then the rest gets divvied out.
I think we need to learn what you guys are doing.
No,
well, you can only do that for a little while until your producer gets on to you.
I'm curious. So with 44,000 subscribers, it's changed, and I'm interested to hear you guys talk about this because you have seen. When did you guys start, by the way?
16 August of 2016, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that.
So you've been doing it for a while, and you know that as time goes on, like these gigantic YouTube numbers, like it used to be, 10 years ago, where if you didn't have over 1 million views or something, it wasn't nothing. Like people were like, oh, you got to have over 1 million for it to be anything. But it seems like there's so much content out now, and then like subscribers the same way that now like a 44,000 subscribers is huge in 2021, like maybe not in 2009. People have been like, oh, I've got 2 million subscribers or something, but I feel like it's fractioned off so much that that's actually a huge number, an impressive number, and a number that you should be able to monetize with advertising and other stuff. I mean, sale, so do you guys feel the same way? Like that number is actually huge in 2021?
I think if you put it into the context of the industry or market that we're serving, right? If we were doing like toy reviews or something, that number would be nothing. But our audience is pretty small. It's a niche audience. It's Scotch drinkers. Maybe stretch it to the regular whiskey drinkers. But I mean, how many people is that over the whole globe? It's not as big. So to us, it's a big number. But if you compared us to another industry, movie reviews or something like that, it would probably be minuscule. I mean, it does monetize. I'm not gonna lie about it, Tom, but it's pretty. You got to have a ton of views to get money.
To flip it though, in that area that we're in, we are definitely considered influencers now because the subscriber count to ratio to the industry, the market that we're in. We're definitely on the higher end now with our subs.
Also,
but in
like
the grand scheme of YouTube, we're nothing.
Yeah, but also like Scotch guys too. I mean, there's another part of that would be, I feel like your demo, almost your age group, is in an age group where they are more than willing to spend a little bit more money on a rare, Scotch on like something that's a little more premium, like they're willing to so there is money there, and they love you guys, and whereas it may not be large, I kind of feel like they would be more liberal spending their money, like your husband, Sam.
Yeah.
Scotch.
That's interesting.
Yes.
He's a whiskey man. Like, he will spend the money. I see what he gets from ABC Liquors every week.
Yeah, we're in the vault.
Yeah, they go in the vault.
Yeah.
So do you find that to be the case with your guys?
That's a question.
Yeah, so curious question. What age group are you referring to that you think we're in? Because I know our analytics.
Probably 35 to 55.
Actually, it's younger.
Really?
Or not. Yeah, it's the brown liquor industry has been blooming for the last 5 years. It's crazy amazing. And it's a younger generation now that are actually into this, which kind of fits your question earlier about YouTube and how it's just saturated with the market and technology, because anyone can do it. When we first started this 5 years ago, we were on the cutting edge of doing live streams. I mean, I was using my phone. It was stupid hard, ridiculous to do it. Not anyone can just push a button on their phone and do it. So it's saturated. So we're actually turning from doing mainstream reviews, because our whole point was, we're taking you on a journey with us. And if you're going to a liquor store and there's like mass confusion, we want to help you with that decision. And we've done that for years. Now we're turning it, because we've got credibility now, we're turning it into more of an informative channel that kind of educate you on bigger, better things, and more of that business approach that you were kind of talking to earlier.
Cool.
Not to get too deep into the business part of all this, but I'm sorry, I was going to ask you.
I don't think you need to preface that. That's what you do here, so why wouldn't you ask that?
So is your audience spread across everywhere? Do you have is where you guys live, is there's a more audience there, or is it no rhyme or reason, just all across the globe?
We do a live show on Thursday nights, every Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Actually, tonight's our last one because we're switching that time. But anyway, for the past 5 years, we've done.
That sounds like something we would promote too. By the way,
I'm like, dude, we're
promoting our last one. But what's
you
crazy,
need to stop hanging out with us, because we are rubbing off on you and giving you bad habits.
Yeah. At 10 p.m. Eastern, we go live, and we have people in Amsterdam and Berlin getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be a part of the show. We got people in Australia that are, in the middle of the afternoon or actually late morning, having coffee. And we're like, well, you got to pour a Scotch if you're going to watch this show. And they're like, well, it's not afternoon yet. And I'm like, well, it's, don't make an excuse, but it's global. It really, I think we have more patrons and subscribers outside of our local area than we do here as a ratio.
That's super interesting.
There's not many people local to us that know much about us.
Is YouTube is YouTube the only platform, or do you guys spread it out everywhere, or is it just YouTube?
Well, as you guys can imagine, the whole social platforms marketing, it's a pain in the ass, and it really is. But we do mostly YouTube, because that's where most of our listeners go to. We do broadcast live to Facebook as well. It seems to be a good stream. We're into Instagram as well, but that's so hard. It's like a whole different. You have different audiences for different social platforms, and if you don't tailor it correctly, it doesn't really produce, because you have to tailor the content differently. So we really stick to YouTube and Facebook, because Facebook is kind of the same way. It's just ease of use. And
you got to feed each one of them differently, man. Mm-hmm. You got to keep feeding them, or they just go quiet and die on you.
Now, we have Sean's iPhone trying to pop in here too. You want to try it?
Yeah, bring Sean.
You want to try it? Okay. I mean, I've never done it. It could ruin everything.
Let's try.
I mean, he's going to hit it and see where it goes. It might throw him in the bottom. Hit it and quit it. They might throw him
hit it and quit it
on the bottom. It looks like it's connecting to audio now. We'll see if Sean shows up here in a second.
So
he's trying.
So to talk about the actual content in your guys' show, did that happen? Kind of the format, what you guys talk about? Did you figure that out over the years, or did you stick with the same format as we're going to talk about one particular type of liquor? We're going to talk about one particular brand of Scotch.
And I know why you asked this. You asked this because when we started our show, let's say 12 years ago now, we have never varied from that.
But all of our topics could be anything. But
all over the place.
It was just 3 segments, 2 breaks, and then we just stuck with that.
Yeah.
Did you guys start with one length of a show, and did it evolve?
Wow. So honestly, the very first show literally was like, put a camera on, guys. And I mean, it's horrible. It's grainy. We didn't know what we were doing. I think we've always had the idea of staying true to Scotch because that's where our passion was. That's what we were interested in. But we've gone over different formats and different styles and what we do. I think consistently from the very beginning, we've always put out a weekly review of a new Scotch. Now, we've re-reviewed a few that people have asked us, but honestly, for the last 5 years, every Monday afternoon, you can pretty much guarantee there was going to be a new published review of a particular bottle. And we've changed the format within that review a little bit, but and like Drew said a little while ago, we're actually changing it up now not because we're running out of bottles to review, but it's time for us to turn a corner, I guess. I don't know.
Well, and we're still sticking true to what we are. Our entity is 4 guys. We're 4 friends in the neighborhood. We hang out and we welcome you to our bar. And that's been from the very beginning. We haven't changed it. How we deliver it, the mechanism maybe has been more focused, but it's still the same format. Every time we do a review, it's push record and live. We don't do hardly any retakes. It's one shot. So that hasn't changed, and we're going to keep doing that.
Have you ever been contacted?
It does provide a lot of outtakes.
Yeah, have you ever been contacted by any, maybe a Scotch manufacturer where they didn't take too kindly to your review, or do your reviews have
or want to pay you to review their Scotch?
You want Sean answer that?
Why don't you answer?
Hi guys, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, Sean?
I wouldn't say that we've ever had anybody complain. Most of the complaints come from people that don't appreciate the review that we gave a particular bottle. Maybe it was their favorite bottle, or they had a fond memory of it. But I would say that manufacturing wise or ambassador wise, nobody's ever contacted us and been upset about anything. We have been fortunate enough to get some product early to kind of review and try out, but even that's pretty seldom. We generally just go out and buy the things that we want to get to.
I love you guys, by the way. I got to give some love to you right now, and I appreciate you taking time out of being a chef at a prison. I'm looking at if you're
He's on his lunch break.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are so. They're so good. He has his headphones and everything. It's so much better at doing this than we are.
And you're a chef at a prison. Now you're like, you do this show for the love of doing it as your hobby. You're putting money into it. Obviously, you got a professional, broadcast and set going on.
I love it.
And you still, it's interesting because I think a lot of people, when they see there's no rhyme or reason to this business. And this business, I mean, new media, YouTubers, social media influencers, podcasters, and me and Daniel seen them all, or not them all, but seen a lot of different types of people that do this. Some of them have monetized it insanely. Some of them do it as a hobby. Some of them
never want to monetize it.
Yeah, some of them don't want to get into that. They like the way that they do it, and it's all different because there's not one big corporation that owns them all. Mm-hmm. Although what I've seen though is a lot of what old school media has basically turned their new business model into using their sales force and using what they already have, their infrastructure they built, and they're just buying up the rights, or at least signing deals with all these new media people and basically coming to them saying, hey, I'll insert your the commercials into your product and pay you for it. Obviously, they pay you a fraction of what it's worth, but it's a good deal for them because, all right, you'll get a guaranteed monthly deal.
You don't know how to do it, and you don't want to do it anyway.
Exactly. Have you guys ever been approached by any of these companies? Because this is kind of a relatively new thing that I've seen happening lately within the past 6 months or so.
Sure. I mean, we get some every once in a while. We'll get an email. We got an email the other day for candles. And we're like, candles and Scotch.
They want us to burn a candle while we're doing a review.
We honestly don't do a whole lot. Our industry is kind of, to your point earlier, old school mentality. Like the marketing, because of COVID, one silver lining, I think because of COVID, the whole we'll call Scotch industry has started looking at this instead of doing magazines and airplane magazines, etc. They're actually starting to look at more YouTube, other platforms.
Sure, yeah.
Before they never looked at that. So we're now just starting to get some more recognition in a sense in that industry. I know we're looked at, but it's just not something that they're willing to invest in. So we don't see a whole lot of opportunities from most vendors.
It's also a different business approach from the United States to how business is done in Scotland. And we've heard that a lot. You know, Scotland does business really old school way, and they want the results of the United States. But they don't want to do things the way companies do things in the United States. So it's kind of difficult. They really aren't willing to extend an olive branch or invest in something like us yet, because they're still of an older school mindset. And that's cool. We've not gone knocking on doors either. I mean, we may approach them, Tom, to be honest with you, so that we can get content. We're trying to open the doors up to their industry to other people. So we're not trying to knock on their door for money. We're trying to knock on their door and say, hey, why don't you let us in with a camera and we can help you, because that's what we love.
Dude, I think that is definitely the way to do it. We've done that a couple of times. That's what I do with. I did it this morning with the when we play songs on the show. Obviously, you're not allowed to do that, because if I just took any song I enjoyed, put it on the show, I'm stealing, right? But if you contact these people, like you're saying, and you just say, hey, I can help you out at a time when buying records is kind of important and weird, I can help you out by playing the song on my show and give it to people. And they are a little bit more receptive to that. Have you found that that it's just going to take some time for you to kind of wear down these older, more tried and true companies?
I think some of the ambassadors in the States have realized that this is important, especially with COVID.
Yeah.
A lot of them have jumped onto social media as a way to interact with their clients.
Sure.
And I think that they're realizing that we've already put the work in. We have a platform together. And so I think that they're realizing what's available to them, and that we're a tool that they can use. But I think the companies and the marketing people above them are still trying to figure out how we fit into that model.
Yeah.
Do you guys?
That's good, man.
Do you guys curse on your show, or do you decide to keep it clean?
Every once in a while, we'll slip out. I mean, we're potty mouths, but we try to be straight.
I mean, to the point where you try not to lose that monetization status in YouTube, right, Tom? I mean, actually, since we do hit record and we do our take, Drew's the one that cleans things up. He's got dirt on all of us.
Oh, so much
because
dirt. So much dirt.
I mean, before Sean and I are filthy minded, and it's horrible. We're cursing up a storm, and you never get to see any of that on the review, but he's got it all. So we really have to keep him happy. Otherwise, we either end up in jail, divorced, or something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's some good stuff.
I love talking to people that have created an audience and created a platform, and that know how to keep their audience engaged, and it sounds like you guys are doing it, and what you have,
it's exciting.
It is super valuable. Like and the more I'm learning about all this, I'm like, if you have
it becomes more valuable by the day, I feel like.
Yes, it does, and it's.
I'm not.
It's only honestly, I wish I was a Scotch manufacturer, because I would literally lock you guys down right now, and I'd pay you guys
nothing, next to nothing. You think it was something, but it'd be next to nothing. I'm just being honest.
I just pay you $2,500 a month.
You'd be like $2,500. We're rich, and I'd be like, these idiots.
But that's
and you would get bigger, and you'd get more valuable, and your guys would keep buying Scotch, and I'd be stinking rich.
Yeah. But it's like, that's coming, man. I know it's gonna get there for you guys, and all of a sudden like we are on the cusp of honestly, we're there for the most part, but you're right. What's interesting is every industry is different and moves at a different pace, and some of the more old school industries have old school bosses who just think old school. They're like thinking print and TV ads and stuff.
You took a call. I cannot talk about it. You took a call 2 days ago with a person whose ideology of business was a 180 of yours, and it almost put you in the hospital.
Well, it's just because whoever is the gatekeeper of the money is the gatekeeper of the money.
Correct.
It doesn't matter if they know what they're talking about or not. But
it does not.
So if you're in the app world, like obviously you're advertising on YouTube and social media, and like that's all you do. You're not doing any of the old garbage. Like radio. You're like what? I appreciate what you guys have built. And it's cool to see these, these platforms and people fall into a particular topic.
More than anything, I feel like it makes me wish that I drank alcohol and enjoy and savor the flavor of it and the craftsmanship. Just kind of drink it. And if we did a show about what we drink, it would be a very short show because we drink fast to just numb reality.
Well, okay, I'll end with this because I feel like we just talked about business and social media.
Well, then I did the whole alcoholism thing and everybody got quiet.
That's just it. All that fascinates me. But so let's go. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Cheapest, best Scotch, best tasting Scotch, and most expensive, worst tasting Scotch.
That's easy.
All right.
Okay, go for it.
Well, that's going to be Monkey Shoulder. It's a $35, maybe $40 Scotch. That's a blend of 3 single malts of Balvenie, Glenfiddich,
Kennedy.
Yep. And then I would say you guys are probably going to agree with this one. The Macallan Rare Cask is about $300,
$299 about.
Yeah, and it's not even worth it at all.
Well, and to clarify that, not to beat them up, that is a batch series bottle. So the batch that we got, that we reviewed, I wouldn't drink again, especially for $300. So maybe the batch somebody would go out and buy today would be different, but that was pretty good. Monkey Shoulder's the easy sell. For $30 to $35, it's a great
every
Scotch.
Grocery store. So I mean, it's one of those things where it's there, it's obvious, and it's cheap, and it's good.
I kind of like the name too. It seems like a little less, or more approachable rather. Monkey Shoulders. Oh, okay. I can deal with that.
There's a reason it's called Monkey Shoulder.
Yeah, it does sound a little dirty now that I think about it.
A little bit, or just like something I would drink,
Also, there's probably an insane amount of small batch craft spirits popping up and craft Scotch that is everywhere.
Do you guys review any of that?
Absolutely. We review. I mean, honestly, we're starting to stretch our bounds into other industries like bourbon or Irish whiskey or Japanese whiskey, Canadian stuff like that. But we're going to start dabbling in that. But you name it. If it's Scotch, we're going to try it. We don't do the independent single cask bottlings as much because at the end of the day, there was 200 bottles made. And we love it, and we want you to know about it. But guess what? You can't get it.
Yeah.
Where's the fun in that, right?
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, some of that stuff just gets so insanely rare. I mean, I don't fully understand it. I can appreciate it, but I mean, we have a bottle here that everybody freaks out about. Says it's like the greatest thing in the world. It's like a bottle of what is it, Pappy? With some whiskey.
Pappy Van Winkle?
Yeah, we have some bottle of that here or something somewhere. I don't know. I poured it in the toilet.
Oh my God!
I'm joking. I didn't. It's here, but I don't know what it means. I don't know.
Well, you should pour it and enjoy it. That's what it's for.
Yeah, we will.
Absolutely. We are not guys that hold bottles.
Yeah, I think we
open them.
We save them to pay our clients and stuff.
Do you have to store Scotch in a particular temperature, or it goes bad, or how does that work?
That's you, Sean.
No, not really. It lasts forever, pretty much. Yeah. You don't want a bunch of weird temperature fluctuations. You want to kind of keep it room temperature for the life of the bottle, but it's going to sit there and be okay. I mean, we've had bottles that we had a bourbon that was 100 years old that had just been sitting around for a long time. We've had scotches from distilleries that were closed for 30 or 40 years, and the bottle's just been sitting there. So no, they don't really go bad. You just kind of you don't want to leave it in your garage and let it, freeze and then warm back up.
So if I had a bottle of 100-year-old bourbon, do I shake it up to maybe get the ghost particles moving around again? Like, what do you do anything, or do you just leave it still as is and you gently pour? Like, how do I consume that? I would feel the need to shake it up like I do milk. If I shake, I get the bubbles in it, because I don't want to.
It settles at the bottom.
Yeah, I was like, this tastes like I got a little of the hat.
If it's got anything that's settled at the bottom, you probably don't want that.
No,
you should just leave it where it's at.
Okay. Probably, just walk backwards with your hands up.
No, you can still pour it out slowly. Just don't get the bottom.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Put it through a colander or something.
So, let everybody know where people can watch your YouTube show and contact you. And I'm interested in the trip with your audience to Scotland.
Go ahead, Sean. You're up.
All right. So Scotch for Dummies. That's our website. That's our YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Discord channel, Patreon. What else we got? Am I forgetting anything?
Oh, Discord.
Discord channel.
Do you have your?
Juan's been trying to get us on Discord for 2 years.
We're
on Discord.
Yeah, we're on Discord, but our listeners have a channel where they.
Well, yeah.
It's just like because there's no rules there. They just show all the red parts.
It's red and irritating.
It's all red.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, it is true.
We're not joking. It's unfortunate.
You got to put sunglasses on before you watch it. It's too much red.
You've made them uncomfortable.
Sorry about that.
Nah, we.
I'm not feel it though.
Just stay off of that page. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
And then there's one There's one thing that a listener did on there I can't even talk to you about, but it involved his wife, a pair of aviator shades, and pee-pee.
Okay.
All right.
Your Discord sounds more fun than ours.
No,
it's horrible. I can't even look. I can't even eat my breakfast after I look at it.
It's absolutely terrible. I open it up. I take one bite of a McMuffin. I throw the McMuffin out my sunroof.
You're like, oh God, why is everything chapped?
Haven't you guys heard of a vino?
Sorry.
All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for the time. Scotch for Dummies. We'll go there and check it out. And hey, good luck with everything. And let's do this again sometime, okay?
Man, we
Sounds
will come
great.
check in on you guys and see what's going on in the future. We appreciate it, guys.
All
Yeah,
right,
100%.
Anytime,
We appreciate
guys.
it.
See ya. We appreciate it. We appreciate it. Promise we appreciate you just yelling. We appreciate it.
It's man. I'm surprised they all still have regular jobs. I guess 40,000.
The people
is
on
on
Discord,
the cusp.
they're unemployed.
No.
Unemployed.
It's on the cusp of, I guess, but everything's so different. It's like I don't know what it would take to monetize a channel about Scotch and liquor. And like obviously, I just go after all the liquor manufacturers first.
That one's weird,
but it's hard because they all
this one's hard because you're giving a review. A lot of people do these review videos. It's like very popular. You're doing a review this. People tell me, Daniel, review all the tech you like. Here's why I don't do that. I don't want to do that because what if I don't like the tech and then we broker some deal and then I have it and it's the thing I have, then I got to lie to you guys.
Oh, I tell you better tell everybody this is good. They're paying us at $1,300. That's what happens.
And I just lie right to your face.
But then
No,
you lose credibility.
You do.
So reviews are a hard, I guess, entertainment because. Logically, it's like, oh, well, Sony will pay you to review their headphones, but they won't pay you if you say it's bad. They'll only pay you if your review is good. Obviously,
here's the thing: I have seen done, but it's only by companies that really know their product and are confident. They'll send you a product to review, and you may keep it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's about as good as it gets. So, like, let's say a company like Rode, who makes manufactures microphones. They also make the Rodecaster Pro, which a lot of podcast kind of changed podcasting, made it very easy, made it like a little podcast box, right?
Yeah.
They'll send you one of those, and you can review it independently and say it's good or it's bad, but they're not going to, like you said, they're not going to pay you. The best deal you would ever get was like maybe a free product. And a lot of times now they're making you ship them back.
Those companies are so big. Yeah, but things are changing now where, like, man, even these guys, the one thing that I don't know, though, is when your audience is so spread out across everywhere, that's where it changes. Like, I know this business because our audience is here. You know what I'm saying? So most of our advertisers are local, and then that's why it works. When it's spread out all across, I was kind of like, you need just internet companies and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's enough of
patrons,
those.
I mean.
Yeah,
If you get enough
subscribers for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you should be able to partner with some sort of liquor company and do like, hey, your subscribers order a box and you send them a different liquor. They got variety. Dude, they do all types of stuff where you could order varieties of scotch and then it comes in a box with your own swag and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, man, there's YouTubers that are making $100, $200 a month. You know, what I want to meet? Pulling it no problem. They're pretty big.
You know who I want to meet is the guy that treats his YouTube channel like a Because he's got to be out there as this becomes more normal and as like people throw their minds in front of this. There is a guy out there somewhere who's barely surviving just on his YouTube channel, and that's all he wants to do, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
But like, I mean, the $35,000 guy, the struggling, like I'm
Yes.
barely putting, but I would want to see what the content is.
Right.
Most people don't.
Sky's the limit.
But see, most people don't talk about it. Like nobody that we've ever had in. These guys were actually. I was very, very happy with how they were extremely
Candid,
open
yeah.
and very candid about their numbers and their analytics and stuff like that. Most people are not.
Yeah, well,
Most people like don't even.
It's
like
all,
they don't ever want to share that stuff.
It's all over the place, and like I said, there's there's content. There's certain content that's easier to monetize than others.
What do you watch mostly on YouTube? Do you use it like a entertainment channel?
What, like
no,
real?
I really don't.
I watch the.
So you're
they
not.
build the mud
so
huts.
you're not in the category that there are like my daughter. I believe, and your sons, I believe if we asked them, I sound like an old man saying this, but if we asked them what's your favorite channel, they'd say YouTube.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so that's accurate. Sam's not in. I'm not either. I don't watch a lot of YouTube. There is not one person on YouTube that I subscribe to that when they dump a new video, I'm like, oh, I'm watching that tonight.
No.
Yeah, because I think we're out of that world.
Too old.
Yeah, we're too old for that world. Not too old to get in. I use YouTube mainly for information. So anytime I want some information or curated information about a particular topic, I go to YouTube.
Or something that's been scrubbed from all the channels that I got to find like bits and pieces of it on YouTube.
That's the one thing that YouTube has provided better than any corporation can provide is actual to-the-fact information because you're getting it from the source, which is the person who knows. And then when you get the video put out by a corporation, it's too much fluff and intro and BS.
I use YouTube for two things. You use it for one of the same things. The mud hut digging people and the guy who says, I ain't gay no more. That guy. I only watch those two.
Yeah, that's the old man YouTube.
I'm not gay no more. And I'm like, ha!
Yeah.
It's the only things I watch on YouTube.
There, it's a different world. Scuba diving. At a certain point, you're just like, well, that's a world that I, wouldn't there. And I'm not trying to break into it.
It's kind of how I feel about cryptocurrency, buddy.
Yeah,
I saw Dodgy Coin got added to like a new registry list, and then it came through on like some tweet.
That's a whole thing.
And then I'm like, it's just too far gone. I'll never be in that.
That's a whole different thing too. That
buying.
A lot of people are
what about digital art? Are you into that?
The what are they called? It's a 3-letter acronym.
NFTs.
NFTs. Yeah. That's a whole thing too. I understand that less than the damn. At least the understanding that Bitcoin may be a global. Digital gold that all other currencies hold themselves to. Like I could get that concept, but the digital blockchain art, I understand the fact that you own it, but I don't know the value. I guess it's valued like any other art, right? Like a Banksy painting is only valuable because it's Banksy.
I guess
anything's only valuable because we decide what its value is.
Of course, yeah.
But what concerns me about the art, because there was one was like,
it's all fake.
It was like this thing was like your greatest source of. It was digital. What do you call that? Digital glass sculptures. Okay, that this person. This is a real website.
It's a blockchain.
Yes,
art of that. Yeah.
The only thing that I can't wrap my brain around is that, to me, I'm surrounded by art in here all the time. I appreciate art. I buy art. I buy art for artists. What is the proper way to appreciate this art? Because if it's just art for value, then I would argue that's not really.
I bet you there will
art.
It's the beginning of it. They'll probably eventually make some sort of.
It's purely for value, right? It's not for.
Well, you can look at it And so
but it's extremely difficult. Like you couldn't
you could display. I think you can have a TV, a monitor. Sometimes a TV, like old man. You could have a monitor, like just like I have that digital picture frame, and maybe you could display your NFT on that monitor and tell people like I own that. I own that blockchain. That's my art, and that's worth. And here I'm displaying it through a monitor.
Gotcha.
Maybe I don't know. I'm just
that's
guessing.
my only problem with it is that I don't understand how it's supposed to be appreciated. I don't.
Well,
is it a completely different animal?
But then
altogether,
there's also you can manipulate the market by like I know that whoever bought that NFT for millions of dollars was like in this world, so he understood enough where like if I purchase this for millions, it'll make headlines and it'll give you publicity. It'll make this thing something.
The chat room is nailing my point. The only reason people are buying it is because they think they can profit from it. So that's my point. It's not art.
It's actually the same.
It's only just.
It's the same as art because
to me it's not the same as art because
it's just a different currency, right?
Like if you do like when Earl, that painting that is I'm staring at right now, when Earl Funk painted that painting, he did not paint that painting to give that value. He painted that because he had an idea and he wanted to get his idea into a tangible painted form, right?
Yeah, that's all art. But that's valuable now. I bet if we sold that online, it'd go for over $500.
But I can appreciate like that. I understand that portion of it. But these like this digital, it was a statue of a panda bear. This digital glass statue wasn't created because the guy said, I love drawing digital glass panda bears. Yeah. Here is my best digital glass panda bear. He was only creating it to make money. So then it's currency. It's not art.
Yes, it's a hybrid. It gets weird when you're talking about it. Then you're saying it exists in a blockchain form, and that's why it's actual tangible.
Right.
Theoretically, because it's like
I don't want to be dumb old man on this. I just want to know how to properly consume it.
It is. We go into dumb old man when we're talking about it, but like you could print out the blockchain of that piece of art, and that printed blockchain is technically a thing, and therefore it represents the piece of art that you could view on a computer or a monitor or whatever, and then you own it, and nobody else can have it. You have that. And so you own this thing.
I get that. I fully understand
But the reason, but it's so new that I'm sure, Banksy will probably make a version of this, and it'll sell for an insane amount of money, and it'll be like, I don't know how he'd do it because I'm a dumb old man, but it'll probably be like something. It's just, I guess we're at the point where everything is going digital and becoming just digital, and that's where we're
digital clothing.
Yeah. I guess
they already have it.
Yeah. Oh, bye-bye.